Welcome to Tales of the Unknown. I'm your host, Wayne, and with me as always is Tedro and Doc. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties tonight, so I'm going to have to apologize first off. Doc stepped away to try to take care of the problem. Let's check with Tedro and see how he's doing. Tedro, how's your night going?
Going pretty good. Can't wait to listen to that guest of ours.
Yeah, we have a great guest lined up for tonight, and I'm very excited to tell everybody about that. While we wait on Doc, I figured me and you can just kind of sit here and banter back and forth a bit. Tedro, do you remember the classic 1980 slasher, Friday the 13th?
Oh man, as a kid, come on now, we all do.
Yeah,
Tales around the campfire.
Oh, tales around the campfire, machetes, boobies, blood. I mean, you can't go wrong, seeing that great flick. As a matter of fact, that flick we're talking about is who our guest comes from tonight, Mr. Ari Lehman. Ari Lehman played Young Jason in the film. Ari also has a band that he travels around with called 13th's Jason. And while we're waiting on Doc to get all the problems fixed up, we thought we'd throw a couple of songs on and let our listeners check it out. So you have a listen, and we'll be right back.
Better run away. First she's gonna make you pay. You better run. Anyone that a child molest, run away and never rest. And if he's abused, body with a child. First she's gonna come and go but what? You will make you know how it feels to be small. Are you just a coward after all? You better run. 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 Get out of my way, I'm coming through, and there is hellfire saw, but I didn't die then. Come with a gun, but I didn't die then. Come with a bomb, but I didn't die then. Jason's life, it can never end. You can use a chainsaw or a shotgun. You could be a samurai or an alien. You can carry weapons, a master son. Still you realize you can kill Jason. Jason never dies. Jason never dies. Get out of my way, I'm coming through. There is hellfire in my eyes and rubbing whiskey on my breath. Don't care what they say, I'm telling you, I never listen to their lies, and I am not afraid of death. Can you hear me growl? I'm on the prowl. I'm in the need of something foul. Deep inside, I start to howl. See the fuck I bear, best to beware, for I can kill without a care, and I will take you unaware. I come with a sword, but I didn't die then. Come with a gun, but I didn't die then. Come with a bomb, but I didn't die then. Jason's life, they can never end. Bring out the army, Navy and Marine. I will wage a battle like the world has never seen. Fire at will, every weapon of war. Jason will be asking for more. Jason never dies. Jason never dies. Jason never dies. Jason never dies.
It's got a death curse!
And we are back. We are live, folks. And guess what? We have the one, the only, Ari Lehman live. Welcome to the show, Ari.
Welcome, yay!
Here I'm Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. The boy in the lake. That kid, that lovably swamp mud covered kid. Yes, indeed. You know, me and Mom. The Voorhees family.
And that's what we were saying, between Halloween and Friday the 13th, you guys literally knocked the door off the hinges and created the whole slasher genre.
Well, sure. I mean, that's interesting, you know, Doc, because ultimately, Friday the 13th really did borrow a lot and was directly inspired very much by Halloween, even to the point where Sean Cunningham will say straight up, you know, he calls Friday the 13th sometimes a Halloween knockoff in a way, because, I mean, the story is that at first Sean was trying to get away from doing horror films, crazy guy that he is, and I was originally cast for a fun comedy about inner city kids who try to win back their orphanage from the mob in a soccer championship. So it was like a heartwarming family story about soccer. But you know, in 1978, nobody cared about soccer, even though the New York Cosmos were in that movie, and Werner Roth was in that movie, and they shot a dream sequence of that movie at the Cosmos Stadium. But no, nobody cared. So Sean had to turn around and think fast. And he was looking around, and he saw the success of Halloween, and he came up with this idea, Friday the 13th, threw it at Victor Miller, the great writer, who had also written that other movie that I was in called Manny's Orphans. And Victor came up with this idea about a camp, about a summer camp, because you know, he thought it was evocative, the ghost stories around the fire. And, you know, ended up they needed another kid. And originally they wanted Noel Cunningham, the son of Sean Cunningham. Yet Mrs. Cunningham said no to that. So it was the producer, Steve Miner, who said it was kind of like back in the day with what was the cereal? But Mikey liked it. You know, give it to Mikey. They kind of said, "Oh, Ari will do it. Don't just call Ari. He'll do this." You know,
Ari will do
but
it.
sure enough, yeah. Well, they knew from the movie that I was, you know, I guess, kind of gung ho, and I just really wanted to get in there, and you know, smart little kid, and I was the right height, and so or the right short, if you will, and so yeah. Sean calls me up, phone rings. I'm just hanging out in the summertime, just doodly doo, and he's like, "Can you swim?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can swim. I live by the beach." He's like, "Well, come on down to the office. We've got another script for you." You know, so for me, this was just like a fun summer job. You know, we had no fathom, not even the slightest inkling that the result would be what it was and what it is and what it will be.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That movie's going to be iconic for years to come. I mean, they can try to remake it. They can try. You know, it's just that movie will always stand as the true classic of the series.
Well, it's the fans. It's the fans that make it what it is. It's the fans that even demanded a part 2, and thank goodness they demanded a part 3, or we would have been stuck right there, and it all would have been over with the canvas bag on our head.
Let's be honest. They could get as silly as it wants. They could give us part 53, and we'd become so attached to Jason, we would still be there, loving every minute of it.
It's all about the fun and the campiness.
Yes. Exactly. That's become part of it. Like by the time we got to Jason Goes to Space, it became just part of it. Like what, you know, where else can Jason conquer? Because he's the anti-hero now.
I mean, when I was a child, camping is awesome.
How many other horror characters actually, or horror villains actually get cheered on?
Well, no, that's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, speaking to the first point, it's kind of like, you know, the expectations of the fans to have a good time. It's kind of like fast food as opposed to gourmet food. They just want to, hey, let's all go down here and we'll have something quick and fast and good. And there's a difference between, you know, good junk food and bad junk food. So you could say, you know, Friday the 13th is a good junk movie, if you will. Everybody likes it. It doesn't overwhelm you with you know, concepts or philosophy. And I think that was kind of a departure at that moment in American horror cinema, because just prior to that we had, you know, The Exorcist, and we had Rosemary's Baby, and, you know, The Omen, and, you know, these kind of, you know, underworld stories about demons and
it was like horror was shoeboxed into this supernatural world until Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees came along.
Thank you. Yes. Well, there's another big guy that broke that spell, and that big guy was a shark named Jaws. Yes. And it was really, you know, Jaws. Yes. Well, you guys are out there. You know, well, tell me. I mean, I know you're up there, Doc. You know, I mean, I was in Connecticut, part of Long Island, really. You know, so I mean, I remember my dad. He was like, took me to the library to show me, you know, see, Ari, don't be afraid of sharks. I was like, I'm not afraid of sharks, Dad. I think you're the one who's afraid, you know, but, you know, because I was going in the water all the time. I didn't care, you know, but there was certainly a fever pitch about that movie. They took a safe place and made it scary. So in a way, you know, Michael Myers follows silent, pale, moving stealthily in a safe place, you know, the suburbs, suburbia. He took suburbia. So there you go, Victor.
Mecca of childhood, Halloween night.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the ultimate safe night.
Good point too. No, that's a very good point. That's a very good point too. Where yes, there's that wonderful feeling of, you know, fun, but a little loss of safety, if you will, and then but then ultimately again the same thing, like when we go to summer camp, right? You know, it's similar to Halloween night. We've all agreed that we're just gonna all have a bunch of crazy fun together, come what may, you know, and there you go. So yeah, I do think that But in terms of what you were saying about Jason as an anti-hero, yeah, this is very true. He's a unique character in the sense that people do kind of cheer him on. And I always say to people, he's evil. He is purely evil. He is what you would say, I guess you'd say, righteous vengeance gone horribly wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So he's right to avenge his mother, although she was a serial killer.
But that ended ages ago.
And, it's like a vengeance ghost in a lot of ways, I think. And it's something you can't reason with. It's a force of nature. We can't reason with little Jason or Sackhead Jason or Big Jason or Outer Space Jason. There's no reasoning with any of them. You can't. Even Psychic Tina couldn't get through to him in part 7. That's I think that element that he's almost a force of nature, if you will, that we can't reckon with. It'd be like trying to convince a tornado to go the other way, or an earthquake, to stop. Once it's there, you're you're going to be a victim.
That was part of the persona that drew us to the theaters. And then along came Freddy versus Jason, where they added almost this human side to Jason.
No, that's true.
That's where he really becomes the anti-hero, and you see more and more people cheering him on from that point. I mean, up to that, it was that pure evil
you
that
could
drew
say
us.
even in Jason Takes Manhattan,
right?
You could say.
Right, they started to build like a little bit more humanity to the character.
Yeah. A persona. Yeah. No, that's true. I think in both those cases, he wasn't in his element. He's in New York, he's in outer space. Although when he was back on the holodeck, again, he went back into form and was swinging those sleeping bags around.
That Crystal Lake scene, man, that made that whole movie watchable.
No, I agree. And it's one of the only times that Jason gets any female attention.
Yeah.
The two girls take, the topless girls, and then there's like this crazy female robot that jumps on him, it's not the best action that Jason gets.
Now, there was one question. This is our second interview, and there's one question I got to admit that I've kicked myself ever since we hung up the last time for not asking you. At such a young age...
All right, but I hope you weren't wearing your boots, huh?
At such a young age, one, did you realize the legend you were working with? And two, what was it like to work with Tom Savini?
Well, no. I mean, I think I was probably one of Tom's, biggest fans for that time period because, I was just a kid, and to be at his studio was like being in Merlin's workshop, for me.
Oh, man, I bet.
Because I was interested in learning about horror movies. I mean, one of my earliest memories, actually from summer camp, is sitting with my friends and saying, I think Bela Lugosi is the best Dracula ever. And no, Christopher Lee. Who's Christopher Lee? I was asking, So it's like, so here's Tom with all he's got the busts of, Boris Karloff and Vincent Price and Lon Chaney and everybody just there. And, decapitated heads and severed limbs and explosive devices and all this sorts of wonderful stuff for a 14-year-old to be around. And, I just saw, wow, him and Tasso Stavrakos, who's also an important person in horror movies with Dawn of the Dead and a lot of other films under his belt. But he, it was just really great fun to be around them, and they're very creative and wow, electrifying environment, and being a young actor, but this was much more fun than what you would do normally. I mean, we spent 4 weeks making the prosthetics and the teeth and the eye and putting it all together, and there was some trial and error that went on there, but maybe 4 days were spent doing the actual filming, because as you know, I mean, when they have a full cast and crew, they got to move fast and all. But now, at that point, was Tom a legend yet? I don't know. I think I got the that rare opportunity to see a legend in the making. But he was, oozing genius. There's no doubt about that. He was also, how should I put this? He was also very popular with the women on set.
There's nothing wrong with that, though, right?
No, nothing wrong with that at all. I got to be honest, man. I was like 9 years old when Friday the 13th came out. And my mom was cool. She let me watch horror and everything. But you guys warped my fragile little mind, man. Between 1 and 2, when Bill Murray's Meatballs come out, I was the sadistic kid sitting there going, where the hell is Jason? Come on, he should be coming out of the bush and killing by now. Everybody's going, no, dude, this is a comedy. I'm like, no, where's Jason? Every summer camp movie after that had to have Jason.
You surely was in the woods thinking something different. It's almost like being in the water, like you said earlier about Jaws.
Where's Jaws?
Yeah. Meanwhile, you live up in the woods there, man, so come on. You're just like looking for Jason all the time. Where is he? Hey,
Bigfoot nothing.
He's watching you, bro.
Jason up here.
Look through your window right now, man. He's looking in right now. But,
Bigfoot knows Jason.
I find this so unbelievable because I remember clearly the last time we talked, I brought up the acting in that, and I remember you saying to me how, no, I'm not really an actor. I'm a musician first. And here it is a year later. First Jason's put out their second album, which is amazing on its own, but you've added like 10, 12 movies. You got movies already right up into next year lined up.
Well, you never know. It's true. I think probably the best that I have to offer is in songwriting and band leading and piano playing and even and singing and doing soundtracks. Yet, as I said, I've got this cool thing now because, when I was younger, they would want to cast you in, how Hollywood and things are and be you in a certain light. But if you could play that older guy, who just walks on the set and just has like one line, I want to be the Donald Pleasance. I want to be the Peter Cushing. I want to be that guy. It's like everybody just running around. It's like a whole bunch of beautiful young people running around like crazy, getting killed and having sex and then getting killed again. And then I come in and go, what a mess this is. I'll fix it. Somehow. They always have those characters like in White Zombie, the doctor, so it's always that older guy who's like, listen, or how about in I Walked with a Zombie? The doctor lady who turns out to be like, yeah, she's just helping these people. What's your problem? What do you got against voodoo anyway? Or what about in a horror hotel, also known as what is that? It's a British movie anyway with Christopher Lee. Where it's all about witchcraft. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, and again, they have that twist there. So it's part of horror. I think
that's the thing. But you're not just out there acting. We looked into a lot of your movies, and you're almost adding your own mini version of Lon Chaney to it because you're taking on a whole range of different characters.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could get opportunities to really stretch it and do some of that super great actor. Lon Chaney is the actual pioneer of both the genre and the makeup as well, because he just started it all. And I urge everybody to watch not only his horror films but all of his films, because no actor could make you cry. He just has this ability to exhibit pathos like none other, with or without sound. And it's what if you ever get to see this movie, The Unseen, okay, where he, long story short, he looks at the camera at one point and he's both laughing and crying, and it's like this.
Very iconic scene, actually. It's a very iconic scene.
Yeah. Rooted Romance. What a fantastic film. But yeah, no. Back to what you're saying. I get to play like a video jockey, and now I've been cast as a high school Principal Hayward in Pi Day Die Day, and then
Nope, you're breaking up.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Is that better? Better?
Getting there.
No.
Yep, there we go.
Hey there. Cool.
I think we got
in Pi Day Die. In Pi Day Die. But now in Chicago, there's a great a director called Jennifer Reeder, and she does stuff for like Sundance. Ironically, she did a film called Crystal Lake. She cast me as the groundskeeper, and I have this. It's this great moment where there's a conflict between a young inner city group of kids who are the boys are trying to take over the skate park, but the girls have taken over.
Right.
So the boys come to me and they ask me a question, and I say, well, guys, blah, blah, blah. And it's, I just love that. That's why I'm more eager to act, and I can, they're looking at me for different roles for more mature characters, so I guess I jump back in there.
And that's perfect. I mean, you're showing a nice range.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm all into it. I've got some ideas. I've got some great ideas. I think that what it is about is showing up on the set, and sometimes, just really listening to the director and the writer and feeling where they're really trying to go, what they're really trying to say. And then I think the best actors can really facilitate that. And then, of course, if I have some ideas, bringing them up subtly and trying to contribute. But, it is a challenge to really just go in there and try to facilitate what others' vision really is.
Right.
Well, it does make it tough, and that's why, me being a writer and director myself, when you're on set and you're working with somebody, you can't really expect the actor to nail what you have 100%. So you have to say, look, this is what I'm going for, but let's see what you bring to the table with it of your own flavor.
Right, it's compromise.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be a transformation. Yeah, it's true. But it's amazing. I mean, I think that if we really look at the words on the page, like if you look at Victor Miller's script, although there's a lot of wonderful improv in Friday the 13th, but some of the lines that are just so, going to Camp Blood, ain't you? This place has a death curse. None of you are coming back. You're all doomed. Like, it just, and that great speech she gives about, she has this shower where the shower turns to blood, the dream, the blood shower dream. These little moments that we all forget, but, it's so crucial. And I really think that what makes Friday the 13th so much fun is it heavily relies on the writing. And, but of course, the real thing that hit it out of the park was that they cast Betsy Palmer to be Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, definitely. Oh, man.
You talk about an actor who came ready to listen and share the vision, but yet somehow just kicked it up a notch, brought it to the next octave. Like, everybody on this set was so just absolutely electrified by her presence and just happy that she was there. Of course, I didn't get to do any scenes with her, but I got to be, I had the great fortune of her being my dear friend for, being at that together. And now we are immortalized together as an action figure set.
Yes,
I've seen that.
That's epic, and it looks great.
Yes. Yes, the Voorhees family action figure set. Yeah, we look great together. We always have. I just wish, no, she missed it by just a few months.
And that's the thing. A lot of you stayed friends together, as I know the story. I mean, Adrian, Betsy, you,
Sure.
Tom.
Adrian's a great dear friend of mine as well. You know, she has her own wine. She has her own wine out there, Camp Crystal Lake Wines.
Yeah, that's what I was told
Crystal Lake Wine.
And she's an amazing artist.
You have some?
No,
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't gotten into
yeah,
yet.
she does the labels. No, I haven't gotten to try it yet either, but I've heard it's delicious. And it all has her labels are that she paints, and it's fantastic. Been actually a bunch of the shows that I did recently. Niagara Falls was up there. Where was I? I think I was down in Houston, and Tom Savini was at both of those. Those are two of the bigger shows that I did recently.
Yeah,
and it really is a blast.
I've seen a couple of the pictures and cons with you and Tom doing machete fights.
Ah, yes. That was good. I was teasing them. I was calling them old men, and they were trying to be soft. So I was like, fine, and I was doing them with my left hand, and they got so annoyed. That was great.
And speaking of Jason,
of course, they clobber me mercilessly because Tasos Stavrakis is the man who brought, jousting on horse jousting to Renaissance festivals. He is the man who started, and he's still to this day. He's in West Virginia. He has a beautiful farm, and he has, which is a real farm, but he also has these gorgeous horses. And no, I would never even pretend. I'd have to just put on my shoes and run.
Just hide behind
But
Kane.
they would tolerate. Yeah. Oh, Kane wouldn't help me. Give me a break. Kane would say, "Tom, here he is."
Yeah, I know. He'd probably hold
Kane
you when he hit you, right?
Yes, he'd be like, "Here, you hold me by my neck." No, but I'm fast. I'm fast. These guys know. But Kane is great. Kane's awesome. He's my buddy. But he is a practical joker. You know, he's a practical joker. Yeah. He loves a good practical joke.
It's good for you. It's good for
He
you.
has these stink bombs that he likes to blow up. Yeah,
that's great.
Hey, I don't know what happened.
He
I don't know what happened.
I told
His
you
famous
I'd
fart
love to get,
spray.
I'd love to get Kane on the show for an interview. I think
Watch
he'd be an
out for
amazing
the
interview.
fart spray.
Well, you know, speaking of
No,
Kane,
he's really a good actor and a great stuntman, and just a great personality.
you mentioned fart spray. Back in 2011 here in Kansas City, we had the first Kansas City Crypticon, and Kane was here that year, and I was there standing by the door by his table, and all of a sudden he stands up and he yells out across the room at Bill Moseley. He said, "Hey, why don't you get it together over there? You're stinking the place up." And you could smell something in the air. Well, come to find out later, he was walking by people and spraying a fart spray.
Yeah.
And then giving them hell over it.
Oh my God. No, I got him because I said, well, I have a buddy, Scott Schwartz. I don't know if you guys know him, but he usually plays like bodyguards in like Ocean's 11, 12, all those. He was in Get Shorty and all these movies. He's a big Jewish wrestler buddy of mine. He's gigantic.
Yeah, I remember. I know you're talking about now. Yeah.
You know Scott Schwartz? He's the best. And so, I mean, we have like the same face, but it looks like I'm like mini me of him. But it's like, so Scott. So I said, yeah, what about Scott Schwartz? Why don't you go spray it on Scott there? Kane's like, yeah, no problem, I'll do that. But he never did. Oh,
I have a fast horse,
Kane with his fart spray. I'll tell you. But that's what's so great about the conventions, because when everybody can have fun together, and anything from all the music that goes down, and just the parties, and rubber band wars, all kinds of great stuff. And people say this and that about what happened, The Walking Dead and all that, but they deserve their glory, and there's, as my I worked in a band from West Africa, and they used to say there's room in the sky for all the stars. So, everybody can get along and do it all together. And I think that there's a lot of fun to be had at these events.
I've seen pictures from a lot of different conventions, man, and you definitely always bring fun.
Yes, we're in the fun business. I mean, I think, it's an amazing opportunity. I mean, to me, I look at this tradition, and it's a celebration of this great, really, if you will, American literary tradition that, you could say starts with all kinds of ghost stories and folk tales and, Edgar Allan Poe and William Faulkner, if you look in there, and even Tennessee Williams, if you look in there, and of course Stephen King, up there in Maine, there's a lot of great
soul.
Yeah. It's an American thing, and then finally it evolved into the cinema, and you look at how, of course, there's a European side to it. You got all that Victorian kind of Gothic horror, and that's their trip, and Japanese horror, and Italian horror, and I'm not saying it's only American,
awesome, but the transition,
no, it's incredible.
Yeah, you have so many subgenres.
Side of it is unique. Yeah, I think, for example, to kind of explain what I'm saying, like if you looked at a movie like Night of the Hunter, that I always love to bring up, starring Robert Mitchum, directed by Charles Lawton. This is a 1954, I believe, release. It has some amazing acting in it and some amazing music.
Mitchum was always almost like a dark. He was really a good dark actor,
I'm telling you, for me, the best years of cinema happened between 1935 and 1965.
You got Cape Fear, even.
They just don't make movies.
The original Cape Fear was Robert Mitchum.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Cape Fear is a great example. I mean, there's just so many great films. And, if you really look at it, the whole gangster film noir, so much of that drew on elements of
the
horror.
Riverfront and so on after that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it goes on, throughout. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's so much fun when everybody can get together and be a part of it. But I think that's important that we continue this great tradition together and look for the best and really try to find who's doing it right and who's doing it great and just make better movies every day.
And that's the thing, with the way technology's come along today, you can make movies with as little as an iPhone and the right creativity if you can find the right support and help. And it's out there.
But yeah. Well, no, that's true. Technology has transformed movies and horror like unimaginably. If you look, I mean, everybody now ultimately has the means of production right at their fingertips.
Yeah. There was actually a Sundance short film submitted this year that was filmed with nothing but iPhones.
I believe it. I had some young producer did a movie for me with, I think he used a phone or it's a tiny camera. It was amazing. It was a music video. But, it's all, I mean, if you know what you're looking at, so much can be done if it's done right. Lighting, angles, soundtrack, of course, casting. If you're going to point your camera at somebody, maybe they should have some acting ability.
No, exactly.
So many people are just casting their buddies from down the street. And that's okay if they can act, okay, but if, it's like,
I picked them up at a Lowe's.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I love that, and there's a lot of heart there, but it's just like anything. It's like if you're a band or you're a sports team, some people should be in the front and, others, do others. Everybody's got skill. But you'll be surprised. There are people who you wouldn't expect can act, and wow. Like, well, I don't mean to put it that way, but, but yes, it surprises you. But some of our some of our slasher guys. Do you know John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah.
A great actor. Also Superman's father in Smallville, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I got
He
it.
did a movie that I saw. Now, I'm not saying, maybe I should have known this, but there's a guy who played Michael Myers named Don Shanks.
Yep.
Okay.
So he did a movie called Like Son. It's directed by John Schneider. Don Shanks plays sheriff in a southern town who's accused of murder. And it has some horrific elements, but it's really a thriller. It's really a thriller. I mean, it's wow.
Well, I think
And
that's
I got to watch
today's
it.
horror.
Well, there's so much in this movie. I'm telling you, it's interpersonal. It's got cultural elements, but it's the main factor is that the deputy is his son. So that's a big element. I don't want to give away anything, but Don Shanks, wow. I got to see, we were at the convention in Pittsburgh called Steel City Con, and John Schneider, what a nice guy. I had been doing this, that, and the other thing. I sat down. Here at the bar was John Schneider, Cassandra Peter, Elvira.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
R.A. Mihailoff, one of my favorite people on earth, who played Leatherface, and John Schneider. And and John says, "Come on, let's go watch my movie."
Dukes of Hazzard,
in the room on the laptop. And I'm thinking, we got Dukes of Hazzard, Elvira, Leatherface, and Jason, together. But
What
we all thought we were going to watch
as
for
a
10
child?
minutes. He ended up watching this movie for the full 2 hours. I'm telling you, it's going to blow up. He's got something else coming out first, I think, called Smothered. But this Like Son, anyway, what got me started on this Don Shanks, I know him. He's like a guy. He's like looks like a tough guy. Wouldn't, but the range of acting that he did in even what I saw, which was just a rough cut, So
Yeah.
you never know. You never know. I mean, there's people who can act, but you never know. It's incredible.
No, exactly, and it's all a process, and it's the little details that'll get you. That's why they take so long. Like, that as a kid, I always wondered why they took so long. As I'm starting to actually just write my first short, I'm starting to realize I've got 2 years into it, and I'm nowhere near going to a crew or a camera yet.
Right on. Well, you'd be surprised, Doc. A lot of people, just jump in there without, I mean, I admire that, but I say, hey, watch some movies. Make a short film. Make a short film. I say to kids, make a short silent film, because you don't even need to sync sound. You don't even need sound. If you can express a story silently, like I guess, in music videos where there's no dialogue and stuff like that, just visually. I think that there's so much power in that, and that's a good way of training. But, also I love old German expressionist violent movies like Der Golem and Nosferatu and,
Nosferatu is my
Oligarch.
favorite.
Yeah.
Film industry in Germany was awesome before the war.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm
one
doing the
that
same thing. That's what I'm doing is I'm waiting and I'm taking my time, because 22 years of construction taught me one thing. It's those little details that'll get you. And in filmmaking, and especially just screenwriting itself, it's those little details that'll, get me turned down flat when it could be an amazing idea. So until that...
Well, a movie is a good metaphor, because a movie is a lot like a house or a building.
Right,
in the
you've got to
sense
start
that
from a
once
solid
it's done,
foundation.
it needs a foundation, yes, and a form and a function.
Right.
And it also, once it's done, you got to live with it.
Yeah, that's
it's like an album. Once you put that there, it's there.
It's like a wedding picture, huh?
Right now I've got a solid foundation, but I'm still working on the form.
Like, did you see the
I
face
like
on him?
what I read so far.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, and I'm
The woods.
I'm working it.
You're talking about the woods, right?
The woods is eventually going to be the full movie. The shorts are one day in the woods and then one night in the woods.
Right on.
One day in
There
the
you
woods
go.
is just a little 4-kill teaser to kind of bait people. and then we're going to try to eventually fund and get the help to do the full feature. That's the one that, well, I don't want to give away too much, but that's the one that has a part written in it for you called The Stranger. And you're going to love the little twist at the end of the script.
Stranger.
The little twist is just perfect at the end. Like, isn't that? And we do the same thing. That's a great
film starring Orson Welles. The Stranger, directed by Fritz Lang.
At the end of the woods, okay? I can do this without giving away too much. At the end of the woods, the son that comes in the tent, he gets to do the same stranger flip in the short. So they're all going to be, he gets to do the same thing, and then all of a sudden it's another one later. It's you later on.
Oh, very cool.
And that's the way that you're actually father and son. So yeah, I'll keep you fully posted, but I put it on hold until I can get up to Sudbury, where I've actually got support and can get the proper help to do this right.
Oh, nice. Well, that's essential, man. That is essential. Absolutely.
No, exactly. And I mean, that's where the airport is. There's actually a thriving film community there now.
Cool. Well, let's not talk shop. People they'll all go crazy.
Exactly. We'll drive them all nuts. So let's switch gears now.
We got a new Friday the 13th coming out. It seems like that's what they're talking about. That's the new dish.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they're even going to drop the found footage format and go a different route.
Yeah, no, they put that one aside. That was really just because the producer who was involved kind of responded to that idea originally, but that was a few years ago actually, and now I think they have I heard from David Bruckner, who's the director, and he actually sent me a Facebook message, which was kind of cool, in which he said that he's going to be respecting what did he say exactly?
Yeah,
he'll be honoring the film that I was in. In other words, he said he'll be honoring that film. So just the fact that he even sent that to me is it shows that it should not suck. It should be
nice. They're going to pay homage then.
Yeah. That's what they've said publicly too. Since is that they want to do this one in honor of the first and second movies. They want to go back and do it right. And
I heard
it hasn't been, and they want to go back and do it right.
Homage to Betsy and Pamela Voorhees. That's what I heard.
Nice.
Now, speaking of, the found footage deal, would you not agree that seems to have become almost the easy way out? I mean, I'm going to be honest, that's where I'm going to start doing my little shorts and stills, just to learn camera angles, and that if I'm going to film myself, because I'm going to do it found footage style.
Well, people were overdoing that like 5 years ago like crazy.
Right.
But I think now it's not so much the only trend. I mean, in some ways, it could be the only way that you could see Jason, because you couldn't film him unless, you left a camera somewhere where he didn't know it was there, kind of thing.
I'd love to see a movie from Jason's perspective.
That's an idea. I think they were, no, they've never done that. They were kind of toying with that in the last one, thing.
Well, I could almost see a Jason film done found footage style, but where Jason's more like Jaws.
That would be cool.
Sure.
And you have the build up and boom, and then he's gone again.
Yeah. Just in and out.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Jason POV movie, if you will. I think that would be really good. But, I'd love to see a treatment for that. Usually what they try to do is to limit the presence of Jason as much as possible, so that he's in the film as little as possible. Exactly. So that was totally a flip on that. That reminds me of, there's this book called Grendel, which is a take on the Beowulf story, where it's from the point of view. Yeah, it's a great book. I think I can't remember the name of the writer, but Grendel. And it's a great. I love that. It's a little book, great little book. But another American horror writer there. But I think that, as you say, the character, thanks to the dedication, imagination, open-mindedness, and just obsession of the fans with Jason Voorhees is enduring and is primal and, you know, is so open that I guess it's malleable, you know, so that each era, the Friday the 13th seems to reflect like what's going on in that time period. Like when people were into like psychic phenomena, and then you had part 7 with Psychic Tina, and then, you know, you had New York City vibe, and then you had outer space vibe, you know. So I think somehow they do have to include technology in this next one. Like, how about this? Jason texts you. I'm standing behind you. Just turn around.
You get a
He's
text.
been cyberbullying me. He's been cyberbullying me.
He's like, he can't talk, but he can text, you know?
Jason takes
I got cyberbullied from Mr. Meg.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Turn around.
Well, like Tedros said earlier.
I mean, would he be into Facebook, Instagram? You know, what would Jason's medium be? Or would he be like, you know, machete don't...
Deadcampers.com, and he posts live kill pics.
He'd have an avatar and a fake profile.
Farmers, yeah. Like this, like what is that? They have like a dating service for farmers out there. Like, you know, monsters.com or I don't know.
I'm really trying to date.
I can actually see that, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the movie, you see a couple new. You have new members, and it's like Freddie and Michael pop up.
The bride of Chucky tries to talk to him.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh yeah, well they definitely did it there with Bride of Chucky. Well, you know, First Jason has a song called Jason's Bride, and we did a video. We did a pretty good video for that.
That was great.
That's a while ago, but yeah, you know, we have new ones up now too. Victim and Heed My Warning. Those are a little better, but my videos are kind of zany, fun horror, not too scary.
That's they should be.
More on the fun side.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're fun. But yeah, you know, I think maybe that's you know, how's it going to ever be Son of Jason? There has to be something next. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, they
Who
don't
knows
have to,
what is
Jason
next?
Never dies. But I mean, and speaking of the band, by the way, what are you on?
But you always got
second or third
reincarnation.
CD? Are you still 2 CDs, or are you on to your third CD now?
We are on the third. We are on the third. We have expanded to a full band. That's what's really exciting. We had our first show at the Guest House in Elgin. It was great, and we've expanded to a full band. I was touring as a duo, myself on electric machete guitar and vocals and a drummer for about 3 years. But now we've got a new guitar player and bass player. So now the lineup is Ari Voorhees on keys and vocals, Conroy Voorhees on drums, Fast Eddie Voorhees on guitar, and Strack Voorhees on bass. And let me tell you, if you go to First Jason on Facebook or First Jason Official on Facebook, we've got some of the new videos up now, live videos. I'm really, really happy with the way it sounds.
And you even got a Jason Voorhees that accompanies you on stage.
That's right. Nathan Barker got up on stage during the song Victim. I think I just put that up yesterday. It's a lot of fun, and I'm just very, very happy with the way things are going. So the next album, the working title is American Original, based on the line that Annie says to Enos, the truck driver. You know, he says, you kids, your heads are full of rocks. You're just like my nieces. You should quit that job. Then she's all like, oh, you're just an American Original. And so he's like, oh, you're just an American Original. So, you know, I thought that was an interestingly sardonic moment for this. You know, the whole time she's like this sweet little innocent girl, and then she's like making fun of the down-to-earth truck driver. So I thought that moment was very 1980 in the sense of, you know, the rebellious kid kind of making fun of the overly authoritarian truck driver guy, and you know, that kind of vibe. So, that's why we're calling it American.
You've got that 80s punk style feel to your music.
Well, yep. Thank you. We really have been kind of laying down that style quite a bit, and we're going to include that too. Now we're going to be expanding as well into kind of a more of a gut bucket rock sound, you know, that we've been experimenting with a little bit. We got a bunch of new songs. There's already 5 new songs written, and as opposed to kind of songs as we've been doing, you know, Jason Never Dies, Machete Is My Friend, Sink or Swim, you know, which are great and working for us. We want to expand the vision to kind of be also about what it's like to be the person who played Jason Voorhees and going around the country and experiencing that, and kind of relating that experience to people. And we really want fans to be involved with American Original we've got people sending in photos, poems, artwork, all kinds of different things. So we want everybody to get involved in, you know, we have a Facebook page for that too. We're going to be starting a fan, you know, supported project on American Original pretty soon.
Sweet. And on top of that, I mean, at your band's main website, they can get your slasher sauce, your machetes, which are autographed and dedicated.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yes, indeed. Please, yeah. firstjason.com/shop. We've got all kinds of great photos and CDs, as you said, and slasher sauce, machetes, all kinds of cool things. Yeah, and if you did already get yourself a Voorhees family action figure set, you can send it to me, and I will autograph it for you. All kinds of fun things, you know. And I really do like interacting with the fans because, you know, in the case of Jason, probably more than any other character, it's really the fans that have kept him alive by kind of reimagining him along with Hollywood, if you will. So I think we're really in an interesting time because we know a new movie is going to be made, and everybody's a big question mark. We don't even know who's going to play Jason.
And aren't we still on top for that new TV show too?
You know, and I talked to Sean Cunningham himself about it, and he says that is in full swing. And they were talking about, he was saying it's going to be about a town called Crystal Lake that is wrestling with this mythos of Jason Voorhees. And that's kind of the setting. And it's going to look at different time periods in that town and how that mythos, you know, so some people are going to say it's not true, and other people are going to say, yes, it's true. And there's going to be that debate whether or not Jason Voorhees really exists.
You know,
so that's what Sean told me.
Speaking of true or untrue with Jason Voorhees, I actually have a question for you about the original Jason. There seems to be, you may have already heard this before, but there seems to be a conspiracy theory that's floating around about Jason that he never actually drowned and that he survived and seen it all happen, and he comes back and he just happened to have like almost like a mutant ability like an X-Men, and that's who he became later on.
Yeah, well, interestingly, when they handed me the script for the final scene, and you remember, or I don't know if you guys do, you know, seen the documentary where I talk about this, but in other words, at first, the only scene I was going to be in was the drowning sequence. And it was going to be like, the kid drowns, the mom kills everybody, and she's freaking out. It was going to be kind of like a reverse Psycho.
Right.
In other words, she's just gone. Then, after having seen Carrie, Sean and Victor and Tom wanted to rewrite it with this surprise ending. So they put in this ending scene. However, it's supposed to be a dream sequence.
Right.
Because when I was handed the script, it said Alice's dream, and she wakes up in the hospital, as you know.
Exactly.
But I refused violently. I said, no, this is not a dream. She chopped off my mother's head. You know, I was big into comic books, sure, X-Men, but also, you know, everything from Swamp Thing to Creature from the Black Lagoon, Aquaman, sure, you know, you could exist underwater. But then the other idea of it being a reanimated Jason. In other words, in my opinion, Jason indeed entered the underworld, if you will. He was in a kind of stasis form, like a vengeance ghost. To me, it always seemed like, okay, upon his mother's decapitation, kind of. But hear me out. When the blood of his mother's corpse on the beach reaches the lake wherein his corpse is interred, boom, there's a reaction. All of a sudden, she goes into the underworld, calls out, Jason, Jason, wakes him up from his slumber. And now he is, if you will, undead. And in my opinion, there's some kind of trade-off has been made, like a deal with the devil, if you will, that he can come back to avenge her as long as he agrees to never die, to continue to ceaselessly seek for vengeance which will never be realized. Right. And that he just is this, you know, but so somehow that agreement is made. He comes out of the water, okay, sees his mother's decapitated head, sees the girl in the boat, grabs her out of the boat, but doesn't kill her. Why? Because he's more focused on going to get his mother's body. We know he brings his mother's body, or at least her head, back to the cabin. I think her whole body. Yeah. So, in other words, I think there's a lot of explanation there, but it does require him to be kind of, as I imagined, a come back from the dead, vengeance ghost, zombie, undead, whatever you'd like to call it, in his own way. So he's not Frankenstein, he's not Dracula, he's not Michael Myers, he's Jason Voorhees. And what he embodies, in my opinion, and what empowers him, in my opinion, is the emotional element. The idea that a mother would kill for her son, the idea that a son would avenge his mother's decapitation is very emotional and drives us to accept the situation. Very much similarly to in Hellraiser, where all kinds of preposterous things are going on, but we accept them in the name of love because this undead form is in love with a living person. Now, I would never venture that Friday the 13th is as good of a film as Hellraiser, and I'm sure Doug Bradley would agree. But Friday the 13th does have an element of that in a more simple fashion. Aha.
Yes, touché, my friend.
You didn't know that was coming.
Not at all. Now,
No, I didn't.
I do have a question, not about Friday the 13th. It's about a film coming out in 2016 that you were a part of called The Barn.
The Barn is great. Oh my gosh. And everybody should go support it. That's a really great film made by a team from Pittsburgh. And that's where I played Dr. Rock, the 80s video jockey. And this movie is great. Go look at the Barn trailer because, you know, they did it. It's a real, like everybody says, I want to do an 80s homage. But this is a real 80s homage in the sense that they, you know, down to the narration of the trailer, it's like, in a world, you know, that kind of stuff. It looks, you know, it's got that kind of, I don't know, it's just 80s the way they did everything about it. The costumes, the characters, the coloration.
Nothing beats
It's great. It's a great little film.
Exactly.
Just
and
look
I really
at
believe that's what's missing these days, is that psychological thriller aspect of the slasher movies that we used to get. We don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
It's all just gore porn now.
Yeah, that's a totally different format, really. Yeah, it's a cool idea. It's like, on Halloween, there's this barn, and if you knock 3 times, these demons will appear, and it's the demon's job to find Satan's Halloween meal, which is obviously some souls that must be brought, very 80s kind of thing. And but it's really a lot of fun. And a great production team, and Justin Seaman is the director, and they just really did a great job. And my character is only in the movie when someone's watching television, and then they show I'm on television as Dr. Rock. Like, you're on the rock block with Dr. Rock. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cincinnati,
Yeah, well, no, it was bang on. You want to talk about? I was very easy to help him realize that vision, because it was basically just me being me. It was super fun, and they got. I think it's the guitarist from Evanescence did the soundtrack. Yeah, they got some really cool stuff going on. And just look at the poster they did for that movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's awesome.
That poster, I'm telling you, I think has gotten them a lot of attention. Always get a good poster. That's the one thing.
Okay,
but
so
yeah,
out of your upcoming movies, what would you say is your favorite?
Oh, I can't say that. I have to be diplomatic. They're all wonderful. They're all spectacular. One I could mention that's of interest would be Victor Miller himself cast me as the what are they? Tall orderly. There's 2 orderlies in the hospital. Now it's funny because he also cast Kane Hodder, who loves who is tall but doesn't like other people to be taller than him. And as a joke, they cast him as husky orderly. No, husky orderly, and me as tall orderly. He's going to see that and flip out. But that movie is called Rock, Paper, Dead. That's Victor Miller's own movie.
I've seen some amazing promos for that.
Rock, Paper, Dead. So I'm very excited to be a part of that. And there's some really big names in there. And that's a feature film. And gosh, I am not worthy. That's a real movie. But I really think that has a lot of potential.
You got Dee Wallace, Michael Berryman. There's a whole bunch of people in there.
He can act. I mean, for real. He's great. He is a great actor. Michael Berryman is awesome. Actor, just great. Just fun buddy of mine too. But there's some real people in there. And I know Victor. The writing is good. I just love how he writes. It does have that wonderful, taut, terse kind of element of those good old thriller films.
Right.
I don't want to give much away, but the killer makes porcelain dolls of his victim.
Epic. Sign me up.
The doll maker, yeah.
Sign me up.
Exactly.
So it's got this wonderful feeling too, because you remember they used to have those detective shows on TV and that vibe too, It's got a little of that to it too.
I've started to make skin-played masks, so yeah, sign me up.
Oh yeah, and Victor's just a great writer, so I can't wait to see. I haven't been able to see much of it because it's all under wraps, but that's very exciting.
No, most definitely. Okay, and well, walk us through some of your other movies if we've got time. Because you've got an awful lot coming up.
Well, there's Pi Day Die Day that's coming up, which I'm going to play Principal Hayward there, where I get to play a principal, which is kind of unique for me, and I'm looking forward to that. What else we got? I just got in there. They're discussing. See, I can't talk about movies that are in talk.
Right.
Yet. I can only mention one. There's several that are in talk.
Talk about it,
But I would want to. One thing I would want to mention to people coming up that I think everybody can come and have a lot of fun with Okay, wait. What about that? What was that movie that's shooting in Des Moines? What's that one?
What about the Wicked one? Is that one you're able to talk about?
Well, the Wicked one had some production issues, so that I really did have a lot of fun on the shoot, and I was really looking forward to it coming out. But I think they might be in kind of a reproduction mode. There is one fun one, where I was cast. I'm playing a real estate mogul in another kind of really cool kind of, I guess it's kind of drawing off TV shows like Starsky and Hutch. It's called Action Super Squad. That's one that's shooting in Des Moines.
That sounds interesting.
Yes.
It's kind of like Barney, another one that's drawing on those great TV shows, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's what's going on. I've been talking to some different people about different stuff, but I would have to hold off on mentioning that. But the thing that I would like to mention, not to change the subject too much, but it's, First Jason and I are going to be featured at some really great events, and one that's coming up that's I'm really excited about is called The Scare Fest, and that's in Lexington, Kentucky now. That's September 11th through 13th. And if you in that region and you haven't been to the Scare Fest, I really recommend it because it's just a great event. And every time I've been there, it's been an absolute success. And First Jason's going to be there, and they're having me host the VIP party on Friday night. And we're going to be there with the full band and rocking out, bringing the new songs. That's where we're actually going to premiere those new songs at the Scare Fest.
Oh, sweet. And that's Lexington, Kentucky, September 11th to 13th.
Yeah, but
I may have to check that out.
That's a great event. Don't miss that because there's just a lot of great. They have a film festival. They have they have paranormal. They have everything. It's a really very very much fun event for everybody. Before that, I'm going to be going to Arcade Fest in Pennsylvania next weekend. And then we've got Bruce Campbell's Wizard World coming up at the end of the month. That's August 22nd, 23rd here in Chicago. And that's Bruce Campbell is having his own horror fest as a adjunct to Wizard World.
Oh, that'd be
so
awesome.
I'm pretty excited about that. Because, there you go. He's got his own TV show, pretty much rocking and rolling now, too. Evil Dead is back on TV. So,
that old Bruce Campbell. Hey!
Yeah. It's called Groovy Fest. They're actually calling it Groovy Fest.
Oh, wow. Groovy Fest, huh?
Yeah, after his favorite phrase. But,
take a train.
Yeah, I'm happy to be part of that.
We need to get you here, Ari, one of these years for Crypticon in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. That's a great show. I did that years back, I'm pretty sure. Crypticon is great. Yeah, they've got a couple of different Crypticons, but yeah, they got one in KC. I think that's my buddy Chaz over there.
Yeah, Chaz DeBoss. Yep, I'm friends with Chaz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do a sensational job. One year I was at Crypticon with Betsy. It's a while back, obviously, but I'm always looking forward to doing these events. Monster Mania, Horror Hound Weekend. Those are two of my big faves. Like I said, doing Wizard World. Those are some great big shows. And we're just always going around the country with First Jason more than anything else. We've been doing these events at the Alamo Draft House houses all over the country where we do a screening of Friday the 13th, a meet and greet, and have the band play. We just did one of those down in Houston, Texas. That was a blast. So, First Jason is everywhere. I'm telling you. We played in Buffalo, and then Houston, Texas, like all within 2 weeks, so we're pretty mobile. But now I'm really stoked about. Yeah, well, thank you, man. The next show we're doing is going to be in Wheaton, Illinois, right out here, with the full band, and we're just really, really ready to kick off. They're going to have an Addams Family reunion. Lisa Loring is there. Butch Patrick is there from Munsters. Little Eddie Munster is going to be there. So that's an event they do every year here in the Chicagoland area, and it's an all-nighter. It goes from 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning, and it gets all kind of crazy. And they got all the horror family from Chicagoland is going to be there. So Dr. Destruction's going to be there. I don't know. Maybe Svengoolie will come by and say hi. We're hoping, maybe. But it's that we're really excited about that.
That sounds it's going to be a blast.
What we do is largely show up and sometimes we just work with local horror rock bands and local horror hosts in any town. It could be anywhere. You're up in Maine. We used to go up to Auburn. We had a show in Auburn. We did, I think, 2 years running, Halloween weekend. So, it's all, we just make it into a horror event, and everybody shows up, vendors, and just make it a good time. I think one time in Auburn they even did a food drive at the same time. So we were able to have a blast and raise some food for a local charity. So that was cool too.
Your American band. Just moving around, dude. Nomads. Just keep running it. You know what I'm saying?
About,
it is about it, brother.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But you're huge into the charity, too. Let's make no mistake there. You're big on supporting charities. I mean, between rescue, the animal rescues and any chance you get.
Yeah, this year the focus is the animal rescue and animal shelters. That's definitely the focus for this year. We're going to be at an event in Dallas called Twisted Tales, which is one of the rare kind of like horror pet events. What else? I did some pet parades up in Michigan. What's that place? Bellwether. The Bellwether Harbor Superhero Dog Parade. I was there. But yeah, no, we're all over that. I've rescued a couple critters. Here's, oddly enough, just as I'm talking, my dog Mazel is climbing on my lap. Here, tell him hi, honey.
Trust me, my friend.
She's half Chihuahua, half Pomeranian. How did you know I was talking about you? Oh, she's cute.
She said, Daddy, I know you talking about me.
I actually just rescued one myself.
Oh, yeah? What kind of dog?
A 2-month-old female red-nosed pit bull.
Oh, that's sweet. I love pit.
Oh, I know. They're beautiful animals and so horribly looked at.
No, she's having a blast right now. We have about a 5-year-old large rat terrier who is also a dog that I rescued. We've had her since she was a puppy, and she's taken Boo, who is our pit bull, under her wing, and now they're best buddies.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I'm trying to get. Hey, Mazel, what? What's it?
It's going to be on now.
There you go. Good go.
Yeah. The dogs all get talking now and take over the show. Watch. It'll be fun. Wayne will start talking back.
Mine are sleeping, actually.
But yes, I want to take a moment and thank you.
Thank you.
We're running out of time because this has been a true honor. You're such a humble individual and truly one of the underrated hard workers out there.
Well, thank you. That really is a great inspiration to me that you say something so thoughtful as that. And, I think that the key is that, it's an interdependent social construct, really, entertainment is. You know, it's a way that we can all communicate together, and so it's just a big family, and I'm just very lucky to be a part of it, and I never take that for granted. So, you know, this has been a lot of fun talking to you all, and I want to get up there and work on a movie with you, and I hope that you guys can come to the Scare Fest or something good, and I also hope my dog doesn't chew my finger up. What are you doing?
Saying, Daddy, I want your attention now. Me.
Yeah. You know.
All right, is there? Did you get all your websites out, or do we want to?
Yeah, just tell everybody.
Sure.
Come see us at firstjason.com. Also at First Jason Official on Facebook. Come check us out, and you know, and look for that new movie next year. Let's hope, you know, because I think this is it, kids. You know, if they make a good movie next year, there's going to be a lot of Friday the 13th to come. But if they blow it this time, I don't know how good it'll be for Jason.
Yeah, they may wait a while, if not.
Yeah, that's it. But I have a funny feeling from everything we're hearing, it's going to be done well. I think they know that too.
I so too. I agree. I like that positive energy. Let's keep that going.
Always got to have positive energy.
Absolutely, especially when you're.
It's Jason. I think the fans are going to be there simply because it's Jason.
If you're running from Jason Voorhees screaming through the woods and he's throwing farm implements at you, the only thing you have left is positive energy. That's it.
That's right.
See, that'll be hilarious. Jason's chasing someone. He's just like, do. Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
What?
I've always wished Jason had a little bit of Bruce Campbell in him so he could get off those one-liners. Because I think it'd be so epic. You know, he's chasing the chick. You see her running. You see her trip and impale himself, and you see Jason just giggle. Bitches always trip over nothing.
Really? Really? The old fall on the fall on the twig.
Yeah, that'd be great. Exactly. You know, bitches always trip over nothing, and he just kind of shrugs. That was easy. Yeah, I mean, it would give him such an added
Rodney
personality.
Dangerfield one-liners.
I'm gonna go on and take care of this critter and everybody here. My beautiful wife says hi, and we're going to have some yummy dinner. But I just want to say this has been a blast, and let's keep in touch and tell all your listeners out there that Jason never dies.
Oh, most definitely would. Thank you again. It has been a true honor. And yes, make sure to thank your wife for allowing us to steal your way for your dinner table for this last hour and a half. It has been a true honor, and you're welcome back anytime.
Many thanks, brothers. Talk soon.
All right, remember, folks, Jason is always watching.
Everything you do,